The last major music generative function in this program is this percussion section that I added. This is pretty interesting in certain ways. The first variable you'll see, and this is all under the geometric expansions section down here. The first one is just turning it on and off. So it's been at 0 up until now. I'm turning it on. The percussion channel, again, this is in SuperCollider notation. So channel 9 is really channel 10 in terms of how you're used to seeing it. So this is going to be receiving on this MIDI channel here. This it's not sophisticated enough that I can set the velocity of each individual note. That would have been too complicated for what I wanted to do. So I just created this value here to select the velocity of all the notes that it produces. This percussion map here defines the actual elements that you want to work with. So as you can see, this next section here kind of all works together. Each of these is a part of your kit, if you want to think about it that way. You can add to this fairly easily. You just have to keep to the same sort of format. So it's a / whatever name you want to add, and then the MIDI note number that's going to play out on and then the semicolon. So I don't know what it would be, but I'm not going to do that. So that will add to your kit. Now here's where the actual pattern is programmed. And so if you do add to the kit, you'll have to add one additional kind of section to so if I added a tom, I would have to add, I recommend just copying and pasting this. And then you change it to, if I had kept that up there, so then I would have that additional part of my kit here and a pattern associated with it. I just kept it relatively simple. So as you can see, I commented the first section, but they're all the same as that. So the first part, the first list here is the actual rhythm. And again, it's in T values or beat values. This second list is the rests, and it follows the same convention as the earlier rests list above. Basically here, if you want the drum to play, it should be a 0. So it's a little bit counterintuitive in that regard, but I just wanted to keep it consistent with the idea of rests in the other list here. So let's say you just wanted to have an alternating pattern of kick drums here. You can get rid of all this. And then the second one and the third and the fourth are similar to the scale procedure above for the ARP rhythm. So let's say, again, it doesn't matter what your scale factor is as long as you have, it doesn't matter what your rhythm is as long as you have a scale factor of 1. So we're not gonna scale anything. It doesn't matter what's in here. This is another one where it's a rhythm. I wouldn't put it just a 0 in here. It doesn't matter since it's just scaling to 1. So let's, I'm just going to delete these for a second just so we can just hear the kick drum. I'm going to turn off those so you can just hear the drums. Now if I wanted that to play twice as fast, I could scale it at that. Oops, sorry, I need to... Forgot about that. So as you can see, it's scaling. It's now playing twice as fast because I've scaled it to a 0.5. So it's a bit different way of thinking about programming drums. It might be a little bit awkward at first. So here we're going to have, it's going to play one beat, and then it's going to rest for the next beat, and then it's going to play a beat, but that's going to last for 2. Anyway, let's bring back my other elements. I'm going to scale this to 1. So I'm going to just going to get rid of these for a moment. So let's have a repeating hi-hat pattern. Almost made the same mistake there. So we're going to have no rest. It's just going to repeat every 8th note. We're going to not scale it. And our snare, let's have our snare, I guess the one above here is actually redundant. So the snare is going to scale it at 1. So the snare is now going to play, it's still playing at the same rate as the kick drum, but it's resting on opposite beats. It's playing and then resting. Here it's going to rest and then play. And the hi-hat should just play constantly. Pretty simple. So let's play with that a little bit. Let's make this more interesting. Not that much more interesting. So I'm not going to go too into depth with that, but that's essentially how it works. I'm going to kind of revert it back to the way I had it before I even started this. So with this type of information here, so as you can see, it gets pretty wild. This is definitely one, it's if you want to be really deliberate about it, it takes a bit of wrapping your brain around the what the numbers actually mean and how to achieve the results you want. I recommend just taking it kind of one element at a time. similar to the way you'd ordinarily program drums, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not going to go too into depths. I just recommend playing with that. I will note again that the percussion tempo is also dictated by this up here. You can set this differently than the rest of the elements. Right now it's actually at half the tempo there. So yeah, the only other thing I wanted to go over in this program is this little bit here down, host start. Now, if you just wanted to get your, say you get something that you like, you've got your program set up and your values all set. You like that piece of music, whatever that is, and you want to record it. Well, you have to arm all your channels and record them. But there's no, at least that I was able to immediately figure out, again, there's probably someone who's better at this than I am, how to host sync between whatever DAW you're using and SuperCollider. The easiest way I found around that, so you could record it, but then you'd have to kind of line up things up manually. So, you know, for instance, if I recorded now, I just pressed record and I ran live and then I started the program, it's not going to be synced to the beat in any way. So you get all this material recorded here, and then you'd have to kind of like drag everything and line it up to a beat. The way I kind of managed to get around that is I created this host start. So what this does is, if you turn this on, it's basically, and you run the program, it's not going to do anything. And what it's doing is it's waiting for the correct trigger to start. And so you basically create a trigger event in your DAW. So when ordinarily you're receiving MIDI from SuperCollider through your AIC driver, most likely on a certain channel. So to use the host start, you'd create a track, and you know you'd send it out to the AIC driver. I don't have it set up right now. Here, this part definitely isn't very user friendly. I just kind of set it up how I would use it. Basically, it's waiting for a note on whatever channel you have here. It's waiting for this note on whatever channel you have here. So currently the trigger is middle C on channel 0, which is really channel 1. So if I were to send SuperCollider, if I were to turn host start on 1 and run the program, you have to have the program running, and I were to send SuperCollider a middle C on channel 1, it would automatically start this program. So what that allows you to do is you could set, you know, wherever you want to record from in your project, you know, you'd set it up to send a middle C like directly at that point. You'd run SuperCollider, you'd go back into your DAW, you'd press record and play, or however you would do that in whatever program you're doing. And as soon as it sees that middle C, you know, it'd play and begin to record, but as soon as it sees that middle C, it would begin playing SuperCollider, and your DW would record the information to there. Just a couple of closing remarks. Again, this is not meant to be a program that you compose an entire piece in. You can, as I've said, do that if you want to. It's a matter of inputting more information in here and being creative with the way you change your values. But it's really, I mean, one of the key features of the Schillinger system is that you are, he gives you a lot of tools for taking a very small piece of musical information, which usually refers to as thematic material, and generating a huge variety of thematic material. So it really shows you how much you can do with very, very little. Just from all the notes that we're dealing with here. I've got 9 notes, right? Um, three note chords, and the amount of variety I could get just out of that, just by manipulating these different processes, is pretty extreme. So the idea is that this is just a tool for generating variety, and you could use it to program to create a whole song or a whole piece if you were creative enough with it. But the idea is that you're just going to use it to take a small bit of material and really explore what can happen if you subject it to different processes with different levels of interference. And there's no randomness involved. It's all very logical. Yeah, so I know this has been long, and I hope you've gotten something out of it, and it looks interesting, and I hope you create some interesting things with it. And if anybody has any questions, certainly let me know. If you think there are ways of improving upon it that are obvious, or if it's something that you want to undertake, I certainly welcome that. The only thing I'd ask is if you do anything with it or share it with anybody, at least tell them where it came from. And yeah, good luck, and thanks for watching.